This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everyone, this is Jody with Wellspring Solutions. I hope that you're doing well today. I'm going to be talking about planning for a successful family meeting. There's many reasons why a family might choose to get together to talk about some issues, but we're going to be talking about a family meeting in the context of family caregiving. So let's look at some of the reasons why you might hold a family meeting. So a lot of times a family meeting might be held because a crisis has occurred, and you don't really need to have a crisis for a family meeting to be beneficial. It might be that you want to be proactive and hold a meeting to gather information. This could be where you set the stage for future meetings. So you're gathering information about healthcare preferences and healthcare proxies, maybe living situations, talking about finances, getting some medical records, just getting things together so that it really sets the stage for future meetings and they can be shared then. You also want to look at thinking about if a loved one becomes unable to articulate their needs in the future, the meeting of gathering the information can be very helpful because then you can look to what you've discussed at this meeting and share it at future meetings. You may also want to hold a family meeting because there's a change in the primary caregiver's ability to provide care. This could be a temporary situation. Maybe there's a scheduled surgery that's going to be taking place, or they have fallen ill. Perhaps they're going back to work full time, and there's going to be a change in the whole caregiving situation. It could also be that the primary caregiver needs help to just better balance their responsibilities with work and maybe taking care of other family members, children. They're going to need to rally some more support, and a family meeting might be helpful to discuss, just get everyone on the same page. There could be a change in the care recipient's condition or prognosis that is going to lend itself to more care needing to be offered and provided. So we're going to have to get a family meeting together to discuss that. It could be that the care recipient fell and a hospitalization has occurred, and maybe we don't know yet if there's going to be a discharge to home, a discharge for a rehab facility, and we may even related need to look at a long-term care facility. So we have to do our homework and see what places are available and go and tour the senior living community, and we need to do that as a family team. A topic that comes up that can be very emotional and tough to handle on your own is driving concerns. So we might need a meeting to talk about that. Long distance caregiving issues, finances, has a power of attorney been named, and end of life decision making, making sure we're aware of the person's wishes. We want to make sure that we have advanced directives in place and living wills. So these are just some scenarios why holding a family meeting might be beneficial. So as we talk about why, we can talk about the goals that can be accomplished. Well, if we have everyone together, hopefully that means we're going to increase the communication among the group, build an understanding. Everyone is going to get on the same page. For example, if the primary caregiver says, I really need to meet because I want to share with you some of the support that I would benefit from. So it could be that the primary caregiver needs help, arranging transportation. It could be that they just need emotional support, a check-in every once in a while. Maybe they really need tangible help with respite care, picking up groceries, shopping, things like that. So it gets everyone on the same page. And then similarly, you can share your views. Everyone has a chance to be heard. And it could also be that you want to get together just to share your feelings about what's going on. And maybe you're, just feeling sad about the situation, some confusion. And depending upon your family dynamics, it might be good to come together as a group and just talk about what's going on and just needing to be heard. Hopefully, another goal that can be accomplished would be that you problem solve, you find solutions and make decisions together. And again, the negotiating and the sharing of responsibilities. And this can just help to clarify expectations among the family unit. So who should be included? Well, each family is different, but if possible, you really want to involve the care recipient. They should be involved in the meeting and they should be involved in the decision making. That doesn't mean that they are going to dictate and be in charge of the decision making, but they should certainly be a part of it. So we want to plan with and not for the care recipient if that is possible. And if your loved one or the person receiving care is memory impaired, to a point where it is not appropriate for them to be at the meeting, please just make sure you consider the preferences that have been shared in the past so you can, respect their wishes. So people who are part of the caregiving team, you might want to even include a paid, caregiver, someone who's coming into the home, people who are concerned about the outcome of the decision-making process. So you want to involve people who you talk about who might have certain um, financial outcomes. There might be certain things that they're going to be affected by with what you decide. So you want to make sure that they're a part of the conversation. And there's going to be family members who have resources and skills that they can offer. So you want to make sure that they're a part of the group. Perhaps a trusted neighbor or a friend, depending upon what type of goals you're thinking about. If you want to involve a neighbor or a friend who's going to be doing just potentially a daily check with your loved one just to make sure things are going well. And one thing you might want to consider is a facilitator. We all have different family dynamics. And if you are concerned about a family meeting kind of turning into a situation where it's not going to be very productive and you're not going to stay on track and you're going to bring emotion into the meeting, you might want to consider someone who can kind of smooth out the process. And that could be maybe a clergy person, a social worker, a geriatric case manager. So just consider if you need a third party to be a part of your family meeting team. So what to do to prepare? Well, it would be good to create an agenda for the meeting. And this might sound a little bit formal, but you do want to have preparation for it. You want to have an agenda. You might want to share it with the family beforehand. And the agenda can include things like, well, really, what are you trying to talk about? Are you just wanting to get an overview of the current daily situation? Or have there been changes? Do we need to talk about finances? You just don't want to make the agenda too cumbersome so that nothing gets resolved. You also want to plan for a neutral meeting location so no one feels intimidated. So it might be that you don't want to have it in a family member's home if there's some tension there. So I might suggest, meeting maybe at a library, asking to reserve some space in a small conference room. And again, this might sound formal, but assigning roles, someone who's going to take notes, someone who's going to keep time. This way the meeting stays on track. And also preparing with collecting important documents that could help with decision making, like current medical records, legal and financial documents. So setting the meeting up for success might again involve some formality, guidelines, and you may even want to post these, up as you're having your meeting. This is not again meaning to intimidate. These are ways so everyone acts respectfully during the meeting. And we're mainly going to focus on the positive. When you have a family meeting, your goal is to support the primary caregiver and really in turn, you're trying to help the person who is receiving care. So you want to focus on the positive, on the present. We're not going to be dredging up past issues and family issues. We're going to be focusing on how to help the people who need it most. You want to arrange seating so everyone can see and hear one another. Avoiding interruptions while people are speaking and starting side conversations. Turning off distractions, cell phones, the television, the radio, and really trying to avoid words like always or never. Saying like, well, you never follow through. We don't want to start being set off on the defensive. We want to avoid making assumptions. So we want to clarify and ask questions to get the facts. We don't want to make any assumptions. And we want to also decide how decisions are going to be made. Are they going to be made by the consensus of the group? Are they going to be divided up? Is it possible that there's someone who's going to make decisions based on finances because that's their particular skill? Hiring a caregiver, is someone going to be looking at senior living communities, and a couple people out of the family are going to make that decision. So you want to kind of decide that up front. Now, you may run into some barriers to success. So I thought I would just talk a little bit about some ideas. So that one of them could be that, well, geography. So you have a family member that says, I can't come to this meeting. I live 3 states away, and I don't know how I'm going to get involved and how I'm going to be a part of the conversation. Well, technology allows for us to easily overcome that barrier. A conference call, doing FaceTime or Skyping, you could do a Zoom call. You can record a video of the meeting and send it to a person and get their feedback. There are definite ways to combat geography. Someone in the family might say that it's too time consuming. So again, when you make the agenda and you stick to it, it allows for the meeting to not go on and be belabored. Another barrier could be that feelings aren't shared. And what you just want to do, and you can establish it as a guideline, is we're going to encourage honesty and we're going to encourage sharing. Someone might say that because finances are an issue, they might just dismiss ideas that are offered, but there are a lot of home and community-based services that can certainly be of help. So you want to pursue options and explore them without just shutting down ideas. And there's history of promises not kept perhaps in your family. So I'm going to go back to that tip: avoid always and never, and focus on the present. And one of the basics can be that, how do you have a family meeting if we have poor communication skills? So we want to learn the basics. And I did a video about this previously, which you can watch just on the good communication basics, but I'll just outline them very briefly here. Being clear and concise. We don't want anyone to think that they're going to read our minds. So we want to be making sure that we are clear with what we are asking and what we're needing for support. We want to actively listen, being present. That means that we are, listening to understand. We're not formulating the reply in our mind and not listening to what everyone is sharing. And you do want to think about your body language and your tone, and that we are trying to be as calm as possible here. And we want to show empathy and respect for each person at the meeting and let them have their time to be heard. So again, a facilitator might be handy if you're getting a little worried that some of this might not happen. And then what you want to do is you want to summarize the meeting. This is why it's really good to have someone take notes. You want to summarize and review decisions that were discussed. And each person should understand what he or she has agreed to do. Sometimes, this like a written agreement, or sometimes it can just help with the commitments that someone has made when you have them written down versus them just being orally exchanged at the meeting itself. Honoring an agreement to something, just one of your things that you have said you would do, is very important to build trust and to build honesty. And you want to plan the next meeting. You want to stay connected. And it's okay if you've made decisions, if there's things that you have decided upon, it's okay to alter those. It's okay to just revisit issues in the next couple months. So you just, again, want to summarize the meeting so everyone feels like they're on the same page with what happened. And sometimes, you might have an agenda and you don't get through even half of it, and that's okay. You have just realized that perhaps, you tried to tackle too many things in one meeting. And sometimes, whatever the outcome of a family meeting is, sometimes it's just good to be able to clear the air. It's a step in the right direction to get everyone together, to get everyone on the same page. And hopefully you find that if you have a family meeting, that these tips are helpful for you. So I just want to share with you some of our services from Wellspring Solutions. In the community, we offer memory screenings, and we offer memory fitness and dementia dialogue series. We have our memory care center, Connections, a memory club, caregiver education and support. And if you go to our website, you can see the upcoming education offerings and our support group offerings. We also offer home care services. So if you have any questions about the services that we offer, please call our navigator, Nicole. She can help you, guide you through the process. So again, I hope this talk about planning for and having a successful meeting has been helpful for you. And please reach out to us if we can help you now or in the future. And thanks so much for watching.